Okay, is everybody ready for this?
Yeah.
Good? All right, let's do this. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Local Lens, Lawrenceville Unfiltered. My name is Louie Campbell, and you, sir?
Dwayne Volkman.
And you, sir?
Scott Durrant.
You're a familiar face on the podcast. You've been here before.
Once before, yes.
Yeah.
With your better half.
With your better half,
Yes.
yeah. She's much prettier than you.
That's right.
Well, we wanted to get together to discuss some information that was brought to light through a FOIA request that I made, and also recap what I feel was a very productive, substantive conversation that we had with Alderman Dawn Brewer this evening, and we'll get into that. Mm-hmm. It was a good conversation. So I had submitted a FOIA request, Scott, to the City of Lawrenceville regarding written communications between the mayor and city council members dating back to December 1st of 2025. So just a couple of months worth of stuff. What I received was about 145 pages worth of communications. Most about 100 pages of that, roughly 105 pages of it was emails. Not a lot of stuff there. Some communication about city park improvements. At one point, the local marijuana dispensary wanted to have a public consumption event, and the mayor was communicating with a couple council members about that maybe he thought that the public wouldn't be received well in our neck of the woods, which I don't 100% disagree with him on that. I mean, we are just not too far outside of the Bible Belt. So,
Yeah, I think we're in the Bible.
yeah. But what was really interesting and what I wasn't expecting to find was some of the things that some of these council members and the mayor are saying in text communications with one another. And I'm going to leave some of these. So I'm going to start with an alderman that's over the ward where I live. I live in Ward 4, and I previously ran against this individual for city council, Teresa Green, and there's not a lot that she says it's really, I would say negative. But one thing that came, it kind of jumped out at me. 2 days before Christmas, her and the mayor are talking about different times for committee meetings and trying to nail down a schedule for the coming year for committee meetings. And then she replies to the mayor at one point, okay, Louie's emails go to my spam, LOL. I don't know that is so indicative of an open line of communication with a constituent. Would you agree?
Right.
The mayor replies with laugh and a laughing emoji. Mm-hmm. That seems about right.
Right.
Which, that starts everything to me as
she's not willing to speak with the person she represents.
Yeah, and the mayor thinks it's funny.
Yeah, not only speak, but it goes to spam, and you usually don't read your spam.
Yeah, so it goes to I think they have a level of unseriousness about how they approach representing the people they're elected to represent. Mm-hmm. And that was unfortunate that happened. But that's really the only thing I saw in Teresa's. There was a conversation.
Yeah, let me say this about that, though. Mm-hmm. That kind of conflicts with the statement she read at the meeting, the last council meeting.
She did.
Maybe she's changed her mind somewhat. I don't know. I know that you've asked for her to stand and talk with you, and at this point she's declined.
Well, to clarify that, she didn't initially decline. So I invited her to sit down with the two of us to talk about all of the issues with our wastewater situation and our sewer problems. And she accepted my invitation to sit down with me,
right?
But not you.
Right.
And I told her that the reason I want both of us to be there isn't so that we can gang up on anyone. That is not our intent at all. But because I've been party to conversations that you haven't been, and you've been party to conversations I haven't been, such as you had a meeting in your home with State Senator Chapin Rose.
Mm-hmm.
You had a conversation with State Representative Adam Niemerg,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I've had conversations with wastewater professionals that you haven't met with, and so on. So.
Yeah. So, if whoever's going to meet with us is going to get, and we're going to have an informative meeting. They need to hear about the information from both of us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not wanting to meet to debate the issues. We're not wanting to meet to, obviously, like you said, team up on anybody.
And we don't want to
We
bully
want to say,
anyone.
here's the information I have, here's the information you have. And then if they want to continue that conversation, fine. If they just want to take the information and leave with it, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that's the purpose for both of us wanting to meet. And after that, if she wanted to meet with you without me around, that's fine. Or wanted to meet with me without you around, that'd be fine too. But
Right.
if they're going to get all the information as some of them claim that they are interested in getting, and Ms. Brewer proved tonight to me that she was interested because she met with us. And
She did. We planned
a lot
for
longer conversation than what we thought, and it was productive.
we planned for an hour and a half, and it
Yeah.
lasted just over 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
a long, substantive
Yeah.
conversation that I believe is moving things forward.
And she willingly took the conversation in areas that we weren't necessarily, we didn't come there to take the conversation to those areas, such as there was some friendly debate back and forth, and that's fine. If the other person we meet with wants to do that, that's great. But again, if any of you council members want to meet with us, that it doesn't have to go there. At least meet with us and let us present you the information, because even Ms. Brewer admitted that we gave her information and provided her with information that she wasn't aware of.
Yeah, I remember her stating that, and she's like, don't take this wrong, but you do a lot of FOIA requests, referring to me, and you probably have a lot of information that I don't have. And it's true. We did have some information, or maybe a lot of information that she didn't have. And she sat down, it appeared to be with an open mind, to assess the information. She has made no commitment to how she's going to process and apply the information, and that's fine. But she's going to be voting on the council on some very important things, and I am at least appreciative that she is willing to take a look at the whole picture before she casts one of those votes. And she represents you in the ward you live in.
Yeah,
Correct? She's your neighbor, right?
That's right.
Okay. So you guys have a pretty good neighbor relationship with Dawn?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, just to finish up on Miss Green, to laugh about sending everything that you sent to her spam, that's the exact opposite of what she indicated she wanted to do in this last council meeting, and it's the
100%.
Exact opposite of what Miss Brewer did. So yeah, we can.
Yeah, 100% contrary to and I've classified it, and I've said it to even Dawn Brewer's face. You know that I classify their comments at the last meeting as the kumbaya statements. You know, the kumbaya, can we all just sit around the campfire and get along? And I don't mean that to be insulting, because that's a collaborative way of describing it, I guess. So anyway, on to Russ Goens. He's the other alderman that serves your ward, correct? Okay. The way these are provided, they're in reverse order, so I'm going to start here. On January 11th, 2026, the mayor says to Russell, dark side meeting at the Rucker building this afternoon. Vladimir, Louie, and Jinjo must be the podcast studio. It is the podcast studio. But did you notice Vladimir? They refer to you as Vladimir.
Yeah.
And it's our understanding now that that's an allusion
That's their
to
nickname. One of their
Vladimir Putin.
Apparently.
Yeah. So
I have no idea how
you're
they
going to
make
have to
that
brush up
connection.
on your Russian.
I guess. It doesn't even make sense how they.
No.
But anyway.
So
yeah.
Alderman Russ Goens replied, I was wondering where the studio was. I just assumed it was at Volkman's. Who is Jinjo? Notice that he did not refer to you as Vladimir.
Yeah.
As a matter of
and
fact, throughout
I
his
don't
text
see-
messages,
yeah.
I don't see any pet names or nicknames for anyone from
Yeah.
Russell Goens. So
Right.
I got to commend him there.
Yep.
So the mayor answers him, the lady on 12th with the basement issues. And then his next thing was, I thought that Vladimir had the studio also, and maybe it is, but those three were at Rutgers today.
Yeah.
Russ goes on to
So
say,
you guys weren't trying to keep it a secret where you were doing the podcast?
no, our podcast isn't the super secret meetings.
Okay.
Those are the
An underground bunker in an undisclosed location?
No, we have the super secret meetings at Vladimir's home.
Okay.
So, which is
That's the meetings that you and others come to. That's the super secret meetings.
super secret meetings. Don't tell anybody about the ones that we have at Sunday night at 5 o'clock at his house, or that used to be Monday night at 6 o'clock. Don't tell
we've
anyone about
changed
that.
yeah.
So, anyway, Goens goes on to say, wow, more sewer talk. Horn must be next week. I heard a rumor yesterday someone had a sewer backup here in town and put it on Facebook. They said one reply was to call Louie and he would guide them. That's true. I have been, giving advice to people on how to handle the situation, who to call, because they don't know who to call.
Right, and if they did know who to call, based on past experience of some people who have called it previously, they may not be guided the way they should be.
Yeah, some people, like you and your wife called the 911 dispatch.
Yes,
Okay.
because you call the water department number on a weekend
After hours,
or
yeah.
whatever, they say call the
Dispatch.
911
Yeah.
dispatch.
Yeah.
That's where it goes to.
So the mayor said, I heard that too. Then Goens says, Rucker building down by the cemetery is studio.
Yeah.
Super sleuthing. They figured this out.
Yep, they figured this out. Cars are out front. I think we've even mentioned it in some of the
Yeah.
broadcasts before.
Then we had the owner of the building on our podcast several
we
weeks
did.
ago.
We said this is his building. Yes. Yeah.
So the mayor responds, interesting that they don't meet at Vladimir's house. Maybe they have their other meetings there too. We have had one of our super secret meetings here because we were anticipating a larger group than normal.
Yeah, and we did have a little bit.
We did have a
larger
little
that
larger
time.
group that time. Yeah. So, but it's interesting that the mayor, who I believe should be held to a higher standard, is referring to an elected official in our city as Vladimir, and that's troubling. But
It is, and again, it's not the name calling. That's not the issue. It's the sentiment behind it.
It's-
and
the-
we'll get into that more later.
the unserious attitude.
But before we go that far, since we were talking about you being called to guide them, can you want to share, Scott, with us? I know you've got bits and pieces that we're going to talk to you about, but do you want to take this opportunity to talk about what your experience was when you guys went to City Hall to find out what you're supposed to do about this, about a sewer overflow?
Well, I mean, we tried calling the department that day. We tried talking to the water department guys that same week after our basement flooded, and we were told, the Aaron Tipser, the director, the department head, would get back to us. Never did for a very long time.
100 days, right?
Over 100 days.
Yeah, over
100
100
days.
days. Then finally, what was it, in August, so like 4 months later, maybe end of July, my wife went to the city hall to get papers to file a claim with the insurance, not insurance.
Risk management.
City, yeah, it's called the risk management.
What kind of reception
And
did you get?
we learned about that from our neighbors.
Okay, not from any city officials.
Nobody from the city.
Fully 3 months later at a minimum. Okay.
Yeah, no one from the city, any employee from the city let us know that's what we could do if we chose to or whatnot.
Yeah. Hey, if you feel like
So-
if you feel like the city was at fault in your sewer overflow, here's the process: file a claim, and we'll let the insurance risk management
Yeah.
take it. No one suggested that to you. You found out from your neighbor. So when your wife got there, what kind of reception did she get?
Well, she asked for the papers. The clerk, Rodney Nolan, he kind of said, well, it might be too late now. Like the time of maybe we may have waited too long. He wished we should have come in earlier. But like I said, nobody informed us or let us know that. and Rodney's a great guy, but it just would have been helpful, and we would have really appreciated him being our neighbor next door, like right across the street, and if he had come let us know, or somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe if Dawn knew about that, and that's, maybe she didn't know that's the process,
But there should be a process in place where someone that feels like they've experienced a damage to the property because of something that was caused by the city, there should be a process in place for that citizen. Right, for a person at City Hall to say, hey, here's the process, come get paperwork.
Even when we went to the city council in May, the first city council after our flooding, the first one we went to, and talked about our situation and just asking questions, trying to find out what happened and all this, and no one offered any of that information. Oh, you can. Well, obviously they don't want to.
Well, thank goodness for your neighbor.
It appears that they would not want people to file a claim.
Right, because had your neighbor not told you, you wouldn't have potentially in time. So,
okay. So we go on January 19th. The mayor texts Alderman Russ Goens, big meeting tonight at the clubhouse. To which he gets the reply, wow, they are planning early. Because we do organize citizens to hold our elected officials' feet to the fire so that the people are properly represented. I don't see a problem with that, but apparently some do. Okay, on 1/28, January 28th, from Russ Goens to the mayor. Good job on interview. I like that all the facts were covered. This was a Channel 2 interview that, in my opinion, was one-sided. They interviewed the mayor and Aaron Tipsword and didn't bother to interview anybody as far as residents or people who have been exposing issues on the other side. The mayor replied, thanks, I believe our quote-unquote friends have lost their minds over it. I believe referring to us, because I did make some posts on social media about it. Russ responds, you know they did. Interesting. On February 17th, I sent out emails to the mayor, Alderman Teresa Green, and Alderman Dawn Brewer, inviting them for sit down. The reason I chose those three was Dawn and Teresa read statements at the last council meeting, what I call the kumbaya statements. Can we all just get along? And so acting on that theme, I decided, hey, how about some collaboration? Let's sit down and talk. Let's go over all the facts, because I'm sure they didn't have all the facts that I've gathered over this last roughly year. And if our meeting with Dawn Brewer is any indication, it's true. They don't have the facts. Not all the facts. She had some. But the mayor sent a text message saying, received this invitation this afternoon. Russ Goens replied, that's easy. You're not a news source. The mayor says, not much to my advantage to get into that situation. So apparently it has to be to his advantage to meet with a constituent to discuss serious city infrastructure issues. Okay. Russ Goens responds, true. If you respond via email, you know it will be posted. And the mayor says, true. That's interesting. They think that I only have access to email communications, but I have your text messages, and this video will be posted. So it's just troubling that they take such an unserious.
Explain why you're able to get these text messages?
Well, sure, because they're both elected officials for one, and every member of the council and the mayor receives a monthly stipend for their telephone, which means that telephone is partially funded by my money. I have access. Their communications is my right.
Their communication dealing with city business?
Yes. Yep.
But not other communications?
No.
Right. So, and I don't know.
That's a question. I'm
it's limited
There may
to
be
the-
a limit there. I don't know, but that would be for a court to decide. But
all that you're concerned with is things that relate to city matters.
that's the only thing. Because there was some talk in here about the mayor ordering some cinnamon rolls from Teresa, and that's cool, fine, and everything. There was some talk about Victor Fritz attending a hockey game with his brother for his birthday. That's cool.
But the point is, it's not necessarily content of the communications, it's what communications. And communications between the mayor and a city official, the mayor and a city employee, the mayor and a department head, those are free game. Those are requestable through the FOIA system.
So a couple things that really bothered me here. This is between, and we confronted Dawn Brewer about these, and she owned it. To her credit, she owned it. So she texts the mayor, again in reference to the Channel 2 interview. Hello, I thought your interview on TV was great. I think it ruffled Louie's feathers. Way to go. I think to congratulate him for ruffling a constituent's feathers, I have a problem with that. It's insulting. And I told her as much, so this is no secret. And the mayor commented back, mission accomplished. That's not the mission. And if that's his mission, to ruffle my feathers, then should he really be holding that position? Shouldn't he have the mindset that he is a public servant and that he is elected to that position to serve the public's best interest,
Right.
and not to ruffle anyone's feathers? That's not his job. This is a level of egregious unseriousness, in my opinion. So, on February 5th, the mayor sends a text message to Dawn Brewer. Adam Niemerich, state representative, Facebook page shows photos of you and Tippy, that's what he calls Aaron Tipsword, with Adam. I cannot read the comments from Louie and Chris Swick. I am blocked by them, but those guys went off on Adam. First of all, he is not blocked by me. Mr. Mayor, you blocked me when I tagged you in a post asking you to open City Hall basement to people who live in the public who maybe not have adequate shelter during the tornado outbreak in April of last year. You blocked me. That's why I shared your cell phone number on a public forum on Facebook. You also are not blocked by Christopher Swick. I asked him to check his block list. You're not blocked by him. You apparently have him blocked as well. As a public official, blocking your constituents, terrible. So, Dawn shared a screenshot of the comments with the mayor, and the mayor comments, Chris chimes in too, all the way from Bridgeport, to which Dawn replied, always, idiot. I mean, that's her opinion. She can think that of him if she wants.
I would say, in the mayor's position, anybody that's in a leadership position, anything you do, you're not going to please everybody. You're probably going to ruffle somebody's feathers, but it should not be the mission.
It should be your goal.
It should not be the
It
mission.
should not be your goal.
Yes.
You're right. You're right. And you should hold yourself to a little bit higher standard too.
You can't please everybody, but you should be trying to do the right thing and trying to be honest and doing
true.
Throughout one theme throughout all of this, and then I'm going to get to a central theme later that I think is important, but I want to hit that after we're done. But another theme is nowhere in here do you see the mayor taking a leadership mindset and saying, hey, no, that's not appropriate,
or hey, these are citizens we represent.
He participates in it, and he actually eggs some of it on. But I will say this about Dawn. Like you said, she owned it, and it was, the conversation we had was actually, it was, like I said, twice as long as what we anticipated it to be.
It was cordial.
And there was we talked about this. We talked about why do you think everyone refers to us as these derogatory terms? Because there's more to come, more derogatory terms.
Much worse.
And we disagreed on some of this stuff, and it was done cordially. It wasn't. There's no arguing or no. And we left with the disagreement still in place in some instances.
Some things we still disagree about, yeah.
And that's fine, but at least
That's why
she
there's
met with us.
that's why there's 8 seats up on the council, because you're not going to agree on everything, and there should be spirited debate, and there should be disagreements on things. The government gears should grind slowly, but excuse me, at least she was willing to sit down with us and listen and ask questions, and she appeared to be genuine. So, and I applaud her for that. I will give credit where credit's due. You do something good, I'm going to congratulate you for it. And Dawn, good on you for meeting with us. I really appreciate it. We'll see how it pans out from here.
I will go ahead and hit on something that I'll probably hit on it again at the end just to drive it home. It's not the name calling and the derogatory terms that they're using. Yeah, that's, that can be irritating and insulting, but that's not the point that we're trying to get across. It's the apathetic mindset that is deeper behind these derogatory terms and behind these conversations. It's the absence of a discussion about how to fix things and how to, maybe the Durrants and the Horns, they got a point. Maybe we should look into this deeper. None of that's there, okay? And I doubt very much that any of them, they could have gotten the same information you and I have about all of this. They haven't sought it out. And if they don't want to seek it out on their own through the EPA FOIA request, for example, they know they can come to us and get it. And no one has done that. But Dawn has taken that first step that they at least met.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I told you that there was some talk about Victor Fritz and his brother going to a hockey game for his brother's birthday. And one of his text messages on December 3rd was, sure is, Thunderbolts game were a blast, and no Vlad or Elon Campbell. Elon Campbell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Fritz, thank you so much. I love the fact that you have compared me to the wealthiest man in the history of the world,
The genius.
and a man who is
Very bright.
incredibly intelligent. Thank you, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. That you almost got me tearing up. Thank you so much. So, later though, this is in regards to a notice of violations that the city had received just 8 days prior. He says, I wonder how much Vlad, meaning you, paid that EPA guy to do that inspection and write that bogus report. I'd like to subpoena the bank records of both of them.
Sounds like an accusation.
It does sound like an accusation, and here's the thing: because
Bribery, yeah.
because these documents are now in the public realm, and his conversations between the mayor are subject to Freedom of Information Act requests, so they're not really private information, private conversations. It's my opinion that it could be argued that this is defamation of character, and you may want to talk to an attorney about it.
Well, that's our opinion. I'm not an attorney. You're not an attorney.
No. Sure.
But at the very least, again, it's the idea of what is behind these.
He's accusing you of a felony.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you were. How are you?
No.
How is he linking you to the EPA report?
He's suggesting that
He's saying.
What's the date on that one?
December 4th.
He's suggesting that I instigated and paid an EPA official to do the September site visit at our sewer plant.
You must have gone to the sewer plant and spread dust and animal feces all over the laboratory.
Yeah. So he's not only accusing me of bribery, he's accusing the EPA of accepting a bribe because he says he wants to subpoena the bank accounts of both individuals, me and that EPA agent. That's number one. Number two, I have had, prior to having knowledge of these texts, I had a private conversation with the mayor in the parking lot of City Hall, and I talked to him about that September visit. And I told him, Louie and I get involved in this stuff after the fact when people come to us with information. I said I wasn't even aware of the September 16th visit until it already happened. And he said to me, because he must know who instigated it. I don't know if he does or not. But he said, I know you didn't call him, Dwayne. Mm-hmm. Do you think he corrected Victor here?
He did
I
not.
don't think he did he?
He did not.
No, he did not.
Nope.
But that's fine. That'll be dealt with, and
So,
appropriately.
this was on a Monday because you and I had been attending a breakfast at the Catholic Church.
At the request of a constituent.
Constituent asked us if we would attend to have breakfast with him, and we have gone several times on Mondays. And it turns out that the mayor and Victor Fritz attend breakfast there as well. I didn't know that Victor was attending this breakfast. As a matter of fact, you remember the morning that I said, "Who's that guy staring at me over there? He looks really familiar." Mm-hmm. And
He was giving you the stare down treatment.
it was Victor
eye.
Fritz.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was him because I'd only seen him at the council meetings, and only a few of those I'd been to at that point. So,
Yeah.
but he texted the mayor. Did Satan and his minion show up down there?
At least you're the minion, right?
Yeah. Well, we find out later
But
that
Satan's not good either, is it?
no. That's the actual opposite of good.
Yeah. So maybe the minion is better in this case.
Yep. And on 12/11, the day that Kelly Lewis had read her resignation at the council meeting, Kelly Lewis, who was here on our podcast just recently, you met Kelly. She's a really nice person. Yeah. Victor texts the mayor, "Good riddance, Lewis the spy." So, classifying it as a spy, she's never shared anything with us other than what should be out in the open anyway.
Right.
He classifies her as a spy. To me, that is indicative of his opinion of whether city government should be open and transparent. Doesn't appear that he thinks so.
Right. And Miss Lewis was coming to our meetings occasionally, our super secret meetings at my house. And she would also, she expressed an interest in learning about what's going on.
Yes,
she was the only one that would actively seek out information and say, "Hey, what's going on with this or that? Can you help me understand what happened?"
Up till
at this
now,
sort of
yeah.
point?" Yeah.
Up till now.
And because she was involved, apparently Victor had a poor opinion of her.
Yep. So 1 week after the breakfast where he said Satan and his minion, he texts the mayor at 3:09 p.m. on 12/15. "Were Satan and his succubus at pancakes this morning?" Now, I knew succubus was bad, and I couldn't remember, but you looked that up. That is a female demon who sneaks into and has sex with men in their beds while they're sleeping at night. That's what he's calling me. Victor, I'm sorry, we can't be friends. Wow. It's hard to read this stuff and not get angry. I am angry at this.
But again, I'm not angry. Yeah, there's some pretty nasty stuff being said there. I am more angry at the idea that there's no conversation about fixing things.
Yes.
That they're not taking the issues at hand seriously. I'm more angry over that.
Yep. So on January 8th at 9:04 p.m., he texts the mayor, "I'll only leave at the request of the majority of the council. I think the public is well aware of my complete hatred of Councilman Satan." That's you.
Yeah.
The mayor says, "Don't let them bully you." And
Someone points to one example of bullying.
This is the closest I've gotten to bullying so far.
Yeah.
I've asked for his resignation.
Using your own words against you is not bullying.
No.
And that's all that we've done with him.
But he responds to the mayor saying, "Don't let them bully you," by saying, "My term is almost up anyway." So there is hope. It appears that maybe he's losing interest in a job and maybe he won't run for re-election. So if he does, you won't win. We're going to make a concerted effort to make sure that someone beats you by a large margin. We want adults on the city council.
Right.
The mayor tells him, "Fight to the end."
So again, there's a pattern of the mayor condoning everything that Victor's saying here, and others as well.
On February 2nd, at 10:31 a.m., did the Volkman spy network make it to the breakfast this morning? The mayor said, "I didn't get there this morning."
Why is he so concerned about you going to have pancakes at the
Because, I don't know.
breakfast?
Well,
Because
he's
he used to
apparently
go.
he stopped going. Talk about ruffling feathers.
Yeah, he-
right?
he-
Whose
he
feathers
says-
are ruffled here.
He actually says to the mayor, I quit going because of him. I feel like I can't leave my house or be accused of a crime, so I'm staying home. Good idea. Because you have
You should be embarrassed.
broken some laws with, public transparency laws, the Illinois Sunshine Laws. And the mayor responds to him, they are usually up to no good. Really, Mr. Mayor? They're usually up to no good? So, in relation to the attempt to appoint someone to the city council who had multiple felonies, Victor texted the mayor on February 6th, 2 days after the special meeting where that was attempted. He says, didn't J.B. the Hutt, referring to J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, didn't J.B. the Hutt and the Springfield Libs pass a bill not long ago that vacated all those felony drug convictions? The mayor responds, I don't know. Victor says, something to look into. The mayor replies, agreed. And maybe they're trying to find a loophole to go ahead and get that individual appointed to the council. I
And
don't know.
nothing against the individual.
Nothing
but
against him, no.
You have one person who is more qualified than anyone else to sit on the council, and that is
Matt Bruff.
Bruff.
Matt Bruff.
And then you have another person, Matt Lawson.
Yeah, who's also infinitely qualified as well to sit on the
Right.
council, yeah.
Right. But instead of looking into those two further, this is what they're
They're
gonna do.
actively trying to recruit people instead of the people who have put their name in the hat.
The people who have stepped forward and said, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, out of all of them, this one really makes me the most mad.
Is this one here?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This one really bothers me because I've come to be friends with you and Hannah. I've known Hannah's parents for a number of years. I kind of knew her a little bit, but I've come to be friends with you guys, and I think a hell of a lot of you. And the Horns who live in your neighborhood, I love those two as well. They're very, very nice people. And this really bothers
Before
me.
you read that, I want to say this. Out of everything that we talked about so far, this one is the most offensive.
It is the most
And
offensive.
be sure that you cover the mayor's response to it as well.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
On February 13th at 6:25 p.m. from Victor Fritz to the mayor. I guess we need to preface it by saying that you and the other couple have retained the services of an attorney to seek to make yourselves whole because of the tremendous financial loss that you've experienced due to the sewer overflows.
Right.
You had probably 10 to 15,000 gallons of sewage in your basement. Yeah, it was terrible. And the Horns have
Two and a
had...
half 2.5 feet water.
Yeah, it's terrible.
About 1,000 square foot basement. So.
Okay, that's quite a bit. So, it's not yet to the point of a lawsuit. It's just a demand letter, from what I understand,
Correct.
which is prelude to a potential lawsuit.
Correct.
Okay. How bad does Mr. Neal, that's our city attorney, how bad does Mr. Neal think we stand that ridiculous lawsuit from the crybabies trying to defraud the city for problems that we've proven were mostly caused by themselves?
There's a lot there.
Care to respond to that?
Yeah, okay, let's take it one at a time. Well, first of all, it's not a lawsuit yet. That's incorrect. But in order for the possibility of a lawsuit, if we decided to do that, you have to take steps before that happens.
Correct.
Right? You send a demand letter and see if they're willing to pay, because the risk management company and the city have, even though we've put in a claim with the risk management company back in August and they're supposed to be investigating it, they have been terrible at communicating with us, letting us know what's going on. And we can't just sit around and do nothing. So we had to take some step if we wanted the possibility to try and do a lawsuit, which has a statute of limitations, which is 1 year.
Okay.
So we're approaching that 1 year mark. And if we wanted to go that route, then that's, we had to take steps.
So had you not done that step, then you would forfeit your right to deal with this in a legal manner after that 1 year was up.
Right.
And you felt like that potentially this was, they were kind of dragging their feet to get past that 1 year mark. Whether they were doing that or not, I should rephrase that. I don't know whether you feel that way or not. But the fact is,
feels that.
yeah, the
like
fact is that 1 year was
possibility.
coming close.
Right.
That's a fact. Why it was taking that long, we don't know.
And I'm
I
sure
have my
they're
own
well
thoughts,
aware
but-
of that.
And it's probably
that-
it's probably brilliant strategy on their end to postpone it until after April 5th, in which case you could not sue the city.
Right.
So-
I will say this, and this has nothing to do with the lawsuit, because I'm not going to discuss, or it's not a lawsuit. I'm not even going to discuss the demand letter. That was you discussing it. I'm not going to discuss the demand letter. I had spoken to the risk management company probably 6 months ago or longer, and they had come across some information that your neighbor had provided them. That was prior to the neighbor providing it. It was provided by a worker at City Hall that indicated that these problems weren't new problems. They've been going on for years. And the person at the risk management company told me, and I've reported this to the mayor. I've said it at a city council meeting, and I've even given her name. Lexi Fodl, I believe is her name, at the risk management company. She said, with this new information that we were just provided with, which was many months after the claim had been started, that might just be enough to get this claim paid. And that was at least 6 months ago. So, you were right to be concerned, I think, about letting that statute of limitations
But the risk management
expire.
company also has made a statement to one resident that their job is to find some sort of tort immunity to make it so that the city doesn't have to pay anything. That's their job, is to find immunity for the city.
Right.
So,
But I would just surmise that if had they been provided with all the information up front, all the accurate information, it's possible maybe they would have made a decision sooner. But we don't know why they drug their feet. We don't know why it's taken this long, but it has.
the risk management company, they made the claim to someone that Aaron Tipsworth told them that there were no root intrusions into the pipes. But we have photographic and videographic evidence of the root intrusions and the root balls.
Some right in front of our house.
Yeah.
And then major
Well, you actually had a pipe collapse near your home, didn't you? Or was that root intrusions?
root intrusions right in front of our house.
Okay.
And down the road, there were blockages. Up the hill from us, there were collapsed pipes.
That's where they had to dig it up.
Which they've
So the next thing on here, we got past the
addressed the
lawsuit.
lawsuit.
The next point on there.
So, crybaby. He calls us crybabies, apparently, and to me, that's just
Oh my God. Yeah.
okay. You can call us names. I don't know what grade we're in here, but it's like, all right. So, it just to me, it sounds like he's minimizing the issue.
Exactly.
We're just crying over nothing. We're just little babies crying about it.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I mean, what do you call, minimum $50,000 loss? I mean, we got some money from our insurance company, but it wasn't even enough to clean, to pay for the cleanup, to the demolishing, and then, we got to if we wanted to rebuild our basement.
And I've spoken
Which
with
hasn't been done yet.
Mostly finished.
your wife, and you have spoken at multiple council meetings.
Correct.
And one thing I've always, I guess, complimenting you both on is the fact that in the face of all of the issues that you faced with the sewer overflows, you've been incredibly polite and kind and forgiving in many ways to the members of the council and the mayor. And I've even encouraged you, I was like, hey, show some teeth. I've tried to encourage you, show some teeth, to which you've been overly kind to these people.
I've read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And you don't.
Some people aren't
influence
influenceable.
people by shouting and yelling.
Oh,
I agree with that, but
But
I'm
I don't
trying
think
to,
you guys have done that either.
no, we're trying to draw a contrast
It's like-
between how you are to what they call you. You're not a crybaby.
Right.
You've been very kind to these people.
The very first council meeting, we went and spoke and explained what happened, and just seeking answers, trying to find information. And credit to one councilman who's no longer on the council now, Wendell Stevens, and he came up to us after the meeting, and because he was a plumber, and I believe he's an inspector, plumbing inspector now.
Yes.
But he came up to us and talked to us, and tried to offer help. He came to our house and looked at some things, but
That was at the end of his term, and he ended up.
yeah, he resigned that meeting. That was the last meeting.
Well, Kelly Lewis ended up being elected to take his seat. So, okay, so
And then there's an allegation he makes. We're trying to defraud the city. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
We're not trying to scam the city.
Now you
We
haven't
are
bribed
trying.
the EPA, have you?
Oh no, I don't have enough money to bribe the EPA. So,
My goodness.
And obviously it's wrong. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that.
you're,
So by coming
you're a devoutly Christian man.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
By coming forward with an issue and asking questions and not getting answers, so you take the next step and you pursue it further. You file a claim and you just ask questions all the time, month after month, and not getting answers. He's saying you're trying to defraud.
Yeah.
Why not cooperate with you all and try to figure this thing out?
Yeah.
So
And he's saying we're crybabies trying to defraud the city. So, I mean, what does he expect us to do? What would he do?
expect you
What
to
would
just
any
walk
of them,
away and leave it
you know,
alone. Is what he expects.
So we're just supposed to take
That's not what he would do.
$50,000, dump it down the drain, and say, "Whoops, all right,
And by the way, that's not only what he expects. Others expect that as well on the council.
just move on."
That's
You
my
know, my
opinion.
home value is just going to drop that much.
Yeah.
We can't, you know, we don't have that much money laying around to just fix that. And so then he says, for problems that we've proven were mostly caused by themselves.
Has anyone proven that it was
I
them?
haven't heard a shred of evidence.
I haven't either.
And if they had, had something, I don't know if they had something to show us. There's just been a total lack of communication, really, from the water department of the city.
And all of the evidence that we've gathered through public record requests suggests contrary, that it is the city's responsibility.
Yeah. So I mean, you look at the events. So last April, big torrential rain. We had flooding in our neighborhood, our basement, and our neighbors. And then they were ordered to inspect the pipes. They had the inspection done, found root intrusions and blockages. They had to clean them out, so they came in and cleaned out the sewer lines.
What happened after that?
And then in August, we had another torrential downpour.
A bigger rain.
It was much worse in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
There was water flowing over the roads in places, and
So you must have got 5 feet in your basement then, huh?
we had no
water.
flooding in our basement.
Okay.
Because the
So-
city addressed the issues.
Something changed between then and
And the city's the one that did the work. You didn't have any work done during that time period?
No.
Huh. Interesting.
So
And the evidence also bears out this. So in an EPA document that we have, it specifically states that the city is not following their CMOM plan. And I don't remember, I'm going to look up real quick.
It's a maintenance plan. They weren't following their own maintenance plan. And I believe, did it specify that area of town?
Yeah, it's the Capacity Management Operation and Maintenance Plan. And the city was not following their own CMOM plan.
But I think the report, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I thought it went on to say in the Lincoln Heights.
It may have, I don't recall.
Don't hold me to that. Maybe, but the fact is,
I do want to maybe clarify one thing. Dawn Brewer, she is our neighbor and our representative, our alderwoman, I don't know. And when she found out that we had not, had a communication from Aaron Tipster to the water department really about our house and our flooding situation, she did reach out to us.
Good.
And wanted to meet with us, and we talked. That was in August, I believe. And so I give her credit. We like they're our neighbors and everything. We get along. But I was a little surprised she was not aware of the inspection report that showed where all the intrusions, the root ball intrusions and blockages were in our.
And that was
toilet.
generated in July, I believe. That's
Yeah.
when it was actually written out, but it was based on inspection in your
In
area in April. I believe.
April 24th.
Yes, she was not aware of that. Has anyone been in contact with you to discuss this to even close to the detail that we have, or done the research that we have, or helped you to know who to reach out to at the EPA? Has anyone else besides?
No, our neighbors have helped us a lot. He's the one that.
Did that? Besides the neighbors, Louie. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's
No other council
the
person.
one that encouraged us to, pass the information to the EPA guy, Bruce Rodley, and like I said, he encouraged us to go file a claim, let us know what we could do that. That was a possibility.
Mhm.
And then you guys have been helping us, talk to try and address the council and the city council and the mayor. And
Has the council, anyone else on the council or the mayor been involved to even near the extent that we have?
the one thing we got from the mayor, he came by our house and gave us a maintenance plan. I believe it was a new plan they came up with going forward.
But that's basically the extent of his involvement
Yeah.
in this process.
Yeah.
It's not, okay,
Okay.
just to make that clear.
Okay, so I'm going to read that text message again, and then I'm going to go through the mayor's response and such. So again,
And again, I don't know, how is he saying that we caused the problem?
First I've heard of that.
I don't know that.
I'm not aware of any evidence that would indicate that you've caused this problem.
Was it?
Unless-
We don't have any big trees in our front yard where the sewer lines are.
Are you a good dancer?
Well, I don't want to brag.
Did you perform a rain dance?
Got me.
So, all right. So,
if they did have some information about, like, oh, it was a blockage in your line,
To my knowledge, that kind of information
They-
doesn't
they haven't.
exist. Yeah.
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 That would be something we would have to get a plumber to go inspect our line out to the road. But
right,
again,
they haven't provided that.
yeah.
So, I'm going to read this message again, and then I'm going to go into the reply. How bad does Mr. Neal think we stand that ridiculous lawsuit from the crybabies trying to defraud the city for problems that we've proven were mostly caused by themselves? The mayor responds, I will call you tomorrow. Crazy that these folks are doing this. Their attorney is also the one that is used by a councilman. And then Victor Fritz responds, imagine that.
That
What
councilman is me. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't talk about this much, but I do have a lawsuit against the mayor for violating the Open Meetings Act, an ongoing lawsuit, and it's not a demand letter. There's an actual lawsuit out there. So that's who he's referring to. And again, what does that matter?
Yeah, and it's the same attorney because we started
Same firm. Yeah.
helping by organizing meetings with your family, the other families affected, and other members of the community who have had issues with it in the city that they want to see resolved at the city council level. And you guys were seeking advice for what attorney to use, and Dwayne offered, hey, you got to check this guy out. He's doing all right by me. And you guys reached out to him. That happens. It's if I told you that I have a bad tooth and I need to see a dentist, I'm sure you may have a referral for me for that as well. That doesn't mean there's any kind of nefarious collusion or anything going on. Only, hey, I know a good lawyer.
I put you in contact with him, and as far as your demand letter that you say that you've submitted, I have no involvement in that.
Right. And I openly, invite Victor Fritz to talk to me if he has some kind of proof. I haven't
he's not
heard
gonna
anything.
He's not going to take you on
If
that.
he wants to have a civil conversation and talk about what the problem, how it was caused, then I'm all ears. But
Yeah. Well, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. I have
so-
no interest in talking to Victor Fritz only because of and until he apologizes for the things that he's said about me. I have no interest in speaking with him.
Yeah, he's not a serious person. I might have burst the bubble of some people out there who are researching whether or not I have a lawsuit. I mean, it's public information. Yes, I do have a lawsuit. It's for violating the Open Meetings Act a long time ago, and we have evidence that suggests that they've continued to violate it going forward. but that's evidence that you have.
Yeah. I got a text message on December the 3rd asking if the mayor was having some sort of a meeting. And I'm like, I'm not sure, I'll check. And he
Text
said,
message from an individual, not associated with the city government. Yeah.
Of course. And the individual indicated that he was told that the mayor was in a meeting with 2 city council members. Well, that threw up a red flag because I know that that's 3 members of our governing body, which is a majority of a quorum, which is a violation of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. So this was about 2 o'clock, just before 2 o'clock in the afternoon when he told me this. So I reached out to you, and we both decided we'd call City Hall and find out. We both called at around 2:03, 2:05. I think mine was at 2:03, yours was at 2:05, and we were informed that the mayor was meeting with Alderman Goens and Fritz. When I brought this to the city council meeting on December the 11th, I was assured that when I asked repeatedly, was city business being discussed? No. And then a letter from our city attorney to the Illinois Attorney General Office of the Public Access Counselor suggests that the meeting took place in the morning, began in the morning. It's interesting though, we called it right after 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And
so was this a very long meeting or was it maybe the attorney had the wrong information? I don't know. He did admit that city business was being discussed. He discussed what city business was being discussed in his letter, and then he tried to minimize it by saying it's no different than if they met in a coffee shop and just happened to discuss a little bit of city business. Well, no, a violation of the Open Meetings Act is a violation of the Open Meetings Act. The Open Meetings Act doesn't have gray areas, in my opinion. It's written in black and white, right? It's you don't do this, you can do this. They did one of the don't do's. Okay, and that's a problem. And I have the letter from the city attorney. So the Illinois Attorney General's office is still investigating this. So not only that, but they're also they've been referred another case recently, and we talked about it on our podcast recently. The ongoing saga with our wastewater plant. The Illinois Attorney General and our local state's attorney, they've been the issue has been referred to both of them by the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. So we'll see what that bears, but.
Because the EPA has refused to accept the city's maintenance plan.
No,
or the city's
the compliance commitment agreement.
Yeah.
Compliance commitment agreement is basically, we promise we won't mess up again, and these are the steps we're going to take to make sure we won't mess up again. The unfortunate situation is in August, the city was issued a notice of violations, and they entered into a compliance commitment agreement then. And part of the terms of a compliance commitment agreement are you don't mess up again. Well, not even a full month, a little over a full month later, they had the site inspection visit at the wastewater plant where they found the laboratory and the egregious state of disrepair that it was in, trees growing in the sludge tank, and they issued yet another notice of violations. And so it didn't really indicate that the city or some members of the city were serious about doing right moving forward. So
the city provided, so they did an inspection in September, notice violations in November. The city provided a compliance agreement in January, maybe.
I think it was in February. They had a Zoom call meeting. I believe it was toward the end of January with EPA. And they submitted a compliance commitment agreement, and I believe it was February 11th. And by February 19th, February 19th, it was the EPA declined to enter into the compliance commitment agreement, and they're going to refer it to prosecutorial authorities instead.
Right. Okay.
So, and there are authorities. I don't know if you're aware of this. There are authorities above the state level that are looking at this as well. To investigate this, and the particular division of the EPA that's investigating this, and nothing may come of this, we don't know, but it is being investigated by, you want to share that?
Well, preface it with saying that they were already aware of it. We just called to confirm and to make sure that they were, to see if they had some information that we had.
Yeah, they'd already launched an investigation.
They'd already launched an investigation before I even knew about this division, but it's the federal EPA.
Federal EPA, and it's a special agent with their criminal investigation division.
Yeah.
So
there's that. We don't know if anything will come of that.
Right.
But why are things like what some people might, let's address those that say that there's some nitpicking going on with this meeting in the mayor's office. Why is it important that they adhere to the Open Meetings Act?
Well,
First of all, you got a transparency issue, but go ahead. What would you say to that, to people who would say, hey, just leave it alone, it's not that big a
I
deal?
want to know what's going on in our city government. Do you want to know what's going on in our city government? Do you want to make sure that they're not having secret meetings where things are discussed and decided upon outside of the view of the people they're elected to represent? Yeah.
I had an official, this was refreshing to hear this from someone. I was talking with a high-level official recently, and I'm not going to say who it was, it's not important, but I kind of apologized a little bit for rambling on to this person, and the person stopped me and said, "Don't apologize." He actually said, "Dude, don't apologize. I work for you, and don't forget that." I've not heard anything even close to that with our local officials.
I have.
And,
I've heard you talk to people like
okay,
that.
yeah, I mean, but I was like, I stopped him and I said, "Hey, that's something I've not heard before, and I really appreciate it." Wouldn't it be refreshing if that was the attitude of our local officials?
I had a member of the state attorney general's office whenever I was discussing some issues with them via the telephone. I think it was the attorney general's office, maybe in the EPA. And they asked what my official status was with the city. And I was like, I'm not on the city council or anything like that. I don't hold an elected position. I'm just a citizen. And she goes, whoa. You are not just a citizen. You are a citizen, and that is a very important position to have.
Wow.
And that felt really nice to hear as well. Because
have you heard any kind of anything close to that from any other our local
from you
officials other than me?
Our meeting this evening with Dawn Brewer, she did demonstrate a willingness to be open and transparent, and that she is elected to serve the people, and I do appreciate that from her.
And I don't want to take away from the meeting that we had tonight, but I will say this: this is February, right? Or excuse me, March. We're into March now. Your issue happened in April. We had the report issued in July based on the inspection of your area, you and your neighbor's area. We had the violation notice in August. We've had a site inspection of the sewer plant in September. We had the notice of violations in November. Where were these people before? And Dawn, again, with all due respect, thank you for showing up tonight. And I hope this is the beginning of a different kind of relationship going forward. But it's been a long time coming.
It has, but at least it's happened, and I appreciate that. And I hope that the other members of the city council who I've reached out to, and I'm just going to list off. So the mayor has not responded to my email invitation.
Yeah, because
not only has he not responded, but he did discuss it with a council member.
He has to council. Yeah, and the council member said I wouldn't respond, therefore he didn't respond.
Yeah, so he didn't respond.
So who's running the show there? But yeah,
I sent an email to Ron Waldrop since then, just recently, a few days ago. As I understand it, he has discussed with members of the public that he got the invitation to meet with me. He has not responded to me. I sent an email to Russ Goens, who incidentally advised the mayor to not respond to me to the invitation I sent him, but Russell Goens did respond to me, saying he declines the meeting. Appreciate the invitation, I'm going to decline. Teresa Green only accepted it under the terms that I meet with her and council member Jim Dunn, who's also over my ward. and they wanted to do so at City Hall. The problem I have with that is if you came to City Hall to check your messages or anything like that, and you happen to walk through, now I have 3 council members present for a meeting discussing city business, and I don't want to be party to any violations of the Open Meetings Act either. I'm so strongly opposed to it that I don't want to have any appearance of violating it. She refuses to meet with me and you. I don't know if she's worried that we're going to bully her. That's not what's going to happen. I did encourage her, said, hey, listen, if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can invite your own accompaniment to the meeting, as long as they understand that this meeting is not for the purpose of debate and arguing. It's for the purpose of a constructive, collaborative conversation.
Yeah, to provide information. Yeah.
So I have not, nor will I invite Mr. Fritz to sit down, at least not at this point. Not after being called a succubus and seeing the things that he said about you, seeing the things that he said about you and your wife and the other neighbors that you have. He's not serious, so I have no intention.
So why wouldn't someone want to sit down and be educated on this stuff? Because I guarantee you 100% I have information that they haven't seen. Why wouldn't I have information that the mayor hasn't seen?
It's
and I've asked to meet. You've asked to meet with the mayor, and he won't meet with you. I've asked to meet with him. I've told him to let me know when his schedule was available so I could meet. And he,
I indicated the reason I asked Dawn Brewer and Teresa Green is because they said their what I call kumbaya statements at the meeting. Why can't we all get along? People need to be adults and all that.
Yeah.
But also, during that meeting, the mayor did make the statement, my door's open. So
you asked to meet, and
I asked to meet,
and he hasn't responded, and that's been, what, 2 weeks ago?
His door is not open to people who effectively argue against his stance on things.
Right.
So
what they're putting out there, some of them are putting out the council members or at the council meetings is not what they're following through with.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I asked the mayor in an email if he was going to adhere to what he committed at the last council meeting as he comes up with a candidate to fill Ms. Lewis's spot. And he sent, his response to me was, would you clarify? And I said, refer to your comments in the last 22 minutes of the last city council meeting. That's what I'm asking you to do.
refer to the video.
Which is consult with the council members and specifically me. And I asked him for a list of people that have applied or who have shown interest or that he's approached and asked if they want to be on the city council. He has not provided that.
He refuses to, and here's the thing: the reason you ask for that list is so that you can do your own due diligence. Maybe one of those people is someone that you would want on the council. Maybe not, but I think it's terrible to announce their name at the meeting and then expect you to take a vote on whether that person should be
seconds
sat
later, because we have 30 days, and there's a reason why we have 30 days to take that vote.
Yeah, so you can properly vet that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not what he wants.
No.
And there are members of the committee of the city council who believe we shouldn't do our due diligence, that we should go with whomever the mayor puts forward.
I know.
And that person has said that as long as they've been on the council, they've never voted it. When I say they said it to our faces, to you and me both.
Yeah.
Never voted against someone that the mayor put forth, because I believe that if the mayor's putting someone up, then they must be a good person, and they must be eligible to fill the seat, and I'm going to vote for them. Well, I think we've proven that not to be the case. First of all, not that they're not a good person, but they weren't eligible for the seat. I want to make that clear. I'm not suggesting they weren't a good person at all. I think they are a good person, but they weren't eligible by law. So I just proved that person wrong, and they still, before they left that conversation, they still maintained their position that they don't need to do their own due diligence.
It was pretty astonishing to me that the mayor still, even after he was informed of the situation,
asked the attorney.
Yes, can we still put this person in? Can we still seat him tonight?
Very telling. Yeah.
I don't understand that. You were just told that it was unlawful, it was against the law. and then you ask, can we do it anyway?
Yeah, can
And
we,
the attorney had said
If you
that you
wanna
can
break
see them
the
and deal
law,
with it
you
later.
can.
Yeah.
Go.
But to this person's benefit or credit, who's the one that said, hey, we should probably just back off of this?
it was Dawn Brewer. She did.
Dawn Brewer
Yeah.
did say that. We
Yeah.
talked about that tonight. That was great that she said that
Mhm.
because I think he was going to go ahead and have a vote on it.
Mhm.
And I don't know how the vote would have went, but
Yeah.
the attorney said, yeah, you could do that. It's not illegal to take the vote, and then we'll deal with the repercussions later. That was the attitude of the mayor. Go back and watch that episode.
Mhm.
It was on
February 4th.
February, but the episode, was it recorded on or put on there on the 4th?
I believe I
Fourth
put
or
it on.
fifth, yeah.
I believe I put it
It's
on there.
only a
that night.
10-minute
Only a
episode.
10-minute episode.
And
So-
go back and look. So any fair-minded person should realize that we are not creating or creating the problems or going out there looking for problems. This stuff is coming to our doorstep, and we're just dealing with it. Like we're not sweeping it under the rug like some people want you to do, like Mr.
Dawn-
Fritz apparently wants you to do.
We didn't just thank Dawn for the sit-down meeting. She thanked us for it as well. And she indicated, and she hopes that this is indicative of how things are going to move going forward. And she asked, how do we get together? How do we meet in the middle? And I think that was a really important question that she asked. How do we meet in the middle? Well, first of all, we stopped calling people Satan and succubus. We stopped calling people crybabies. We stopped
But and it's not just you stop calling them. The attitude needs to change.
Yeah, and we stopped congratulating the mayor for ruffling citizens' feathers. That's what we stopped doing, and then meet when I extended the invitations, not because I want to have a sit-down argument and debate with you. It's because I want to share information so that you can go into that council chamber and make an informed decision. You know, like the same reason that I lobbied for you to put on the agenda last month, which the mayor didn't do, even though you requested it, to require department heads to be at council meetings. The reason behind that is because the council is only as good as the information that's provided to them. They can't make informed votes without having all the information. Ms. Brewer didn't indicate that there was a problem with that. She agrees that she's only as good as the information provided to her. So this is what we want to do. We want to provide the information. We've done all of this work, and not to edify our own, understanding, but we want to edify your understanding of the issues as well. I also invited Dawn to come on the podcast this evening. Before we finished, I told her we were going to be meeting with you. I said, I'd want to make an invitation. She said she'd think about it. And I hope she does. I hope she'd come on here. So,
an important point to make is if through our research we had discovered that there were no issues on the city's part, that the lab was in good condition, that we didn't have to use an outside lab at a cost of $3,000 to our community, which we are still using since September 16th. And if the city, the root intrusions in the city sewer lines and the collapse of the lines hadn't caused your problems, apparently, at least that's what the reports lead everyone to believe. If the evidence showed otherwise, we'd be out there saying that.
absolutely.
Right? I mean, we're not making up our own evidence. We're saying, people, here's the evidence. When I say people, the city council members, here's the evidence. Do you want to look at it? And all of them, up until tonight with Dawn Brewer, have said, no, I don't think I need to look at it. They just turn their heads to it. Now, I'm sure you've given them quite a bit of information, but you haven't given them everything because they're not taking you up on meetings. We want to sit down and talk to them. But to a person until tonight with Dawn, they've not been interested in hearing all of the truth.
I get 5 minutes at a council meeting to share information, and not one time have I been able to get through all of my notes in that 5 minutes. And our meeting tonight with Dawn was scheduled to last 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It lasted over 3 hours. And it was 3 hours of substance. And it was a good meeting.
So maybe they don't want to put in the work. I don't know, but maybe that's it.
And
I don't think that's it. I think there's other reasons why they don't want to get involved. They don't want to find out the truth. It's because maybe they'll be proven wrong. And maybe they're supporting their side for reasons that aren't justifiable. That's what I think it is. But maybe they just don't want to do the work.
Maybe there's some cognitive dissonance in there. They don't want to be confronted with something that challenges their current belief system. And
right. Well, as a member of the council that Victor Fritz is on, Scott, I'm embarrassed that you were referred to that way. And at least as a member of the city council, I apologize on behalf of the council as a whole. But this man here owes you a public apology.
Yeah, he does, and I think the mayor.
I think the mayor owes you an apology because he essentially agreed with what Victor Fritz said there.
Yeah, the mayor should be held to a higher standard. He is elected by the whole of the people of Lawrenceville to serve the whole of the people of Lawrenceville, including those that he may not like, and I'm sure he doesn't like me.
That was another point we made with Dawn. Take out the personal disdain you might have for anyone. Mm-hmm. I don't like everyone on the council. They don't have to like me. Remove your personal thoughts and feelings and look at the facts. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the mayor should be held to a higher standard, and he should hold those who he communicates with to a high standard. I ran for city council, and I lost to Teresa Green. She beat me fair and square. But during the campaign, I had a friend of mine say in a public forum something that I'm not going to repeat because it's highly offensive. Yeah. But if the people of Lawrenceville don't vote to elect Louie Campbell, they are a terrible insult. And I saw that and I'm like, whoa. No. People have the right to vote for whoever they want. Mm-hmm. Some of the people voted for Teresa because they know and love Teresa. And that's their right. That's their right to vote for her. Mm-hmm. And it bothered me to have that. And so I held the people who were supporting me to a higher standard than what the mayor is holding.
I don't think you made the point, though. You didn't just think that. You contacted that person.
And asked them to delete it.
And they did. They deleted it.
Yes.
You contacted them. You said, no, don't do that. That's not appropriate. And they deleted it.
Yes. Yes, I did. And
the mayor could have done stuff like that between him and another council member. Hey, no, that's not appropriate. Let's not refer to them that way. Matter of fact, I think maybe we need to sit down and have a special meeting to find out more facts. Maybe that could have been something he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, anyway, Scott, do you have anything to add? We talked about a lot.
I don't think so.
But I wanted to put you on the spot.
You've been to a couple of our meetings, secret meetings.
Secret meetings.
Yeah.
Super secret.
Have you heard that? Have you heard that kind of talk? Of things that you've heard that we've read on these texts?
Of anybody calling names?
Yeah, name calling or yeah.
No.
We're talking about issues. We
It's a group of concerned citizens. Citizens that want things changed, or
would you or your wife?
But before you go there, though, and we've actually had a couple disagreements in that group, but it's always been, and maybe you weren't there for some of them, but it's always been cordial. And before everyone left, everything was fine.
Yeah.
So we've had open discussions that sometimes people don't always agree. We don't just talk about this stuff either. There's other things that we talk about besides the water and sewer issues.
Right.
So anyway, that's how it should be done.
You and your wife, being the kind individuals that you are, devout believers, would you be part of these super secret meetings if we sat around and called these people names all the time?
I don't think it would be very productive and helpful. So
I think we would have probably run it off by now.
I don't believe you would align yourself with
be a part of it.
You wouldn't align yourself with people that do that.
Right.
So, and I respect you for that. And if we ever went there, I would hope that you would call us out for it. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, that's all I have. Anything else to add, Dwayne?
Not tonight. No.
Okay. Well, guys. Thanks so much for tuning into yet another episode of The Local Lens, Lawrenceville Unfiltered. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, Share this on all your social media. Be sure to leave a lot of comments. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys again. Until the next time, peace. That was good. I want to see that rain dance.